Thank you for the introduction, Peter. Yeah, that looks right. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the honor. Today, I will tell you or have a talk about medical devices and a new term for evidence medical devices. That's our approach to innovation in clinical AI with open source. So, first of all, maybe some words about me. I'm a medical doctor, as many people before on the stage. But yeah, I just worked for 4 years as clinician, and then afterwards 5 years as researcher in clinical decision support, which is, in other words, clinical AI. And there's a newly founded department in our university hospital in Leipzig. It's called the Department for Clinical AI and Translational Medicine. My official rank is head of AI development. So let's dive into it. Open source is huge and probably bigger than you think. Some guys from Harvard found out that the market value is about $9 trillion. $9 trillion, yeah. So the annual global turnover in software, for comparison, is $500 billion. Yeah, so it's 16 times the annual global turnover of software. So for most of us, this is somehow counterintuitive, isn't it? We don't use so much open source, do we? So open source software is usually embedded in closed source software. And this is one of the reasons why open source is so underestimated. So there are many good reasons for open source. But in the end, it just feels right. Why is that? Rutger Bregman, a Dutch historian, says these days that there's no evolutionary advantage to blushing. You want to keep something, you want to hide something, and then your face gets red. Why is that? Everybody can see it, right? So where's the advantage? Well, transparency is deeply human. It's our way to build trust. And when people trust each other, they cooperate. Yeah? They do more than they could alone. So I would say there is an advantage. It's called cooperation. And there are many good reasons for open source. It's transparent, it's cooperative, it's human. And the really important reason against it is that companies are worried to make no money with it. Well, I don't want to go too deep into this, but I want to show you some examples, some areas where open source is simply the better choice. And in short, these are the areas that only serve purely economic goals, meaning like the maximization of profits and on the free market. Yeah? You aim for social goals, then open source could be the better choice. And this is true especially for international research and AI. Here are some examples from universities who have great success with open source, and they develop and further develop these libraries. So what speaks against it? What speaks against to use open source medical devices? Well, in medical devices, we have high investment costs, really high, compared to other software companies. We have these liability issues. I don't know if you know the term German Angst. Yeah? It's the anxiety in Germany, and it's big. And there is interdisciplinary complexity. In the medical field, in the medical device field, you don't need only some software dudes. Yeah? You need physicians, you need health experts, and so on. And they all have to work together. It's somewhat more complex than many open source software projects are. So, but it's happening. There is open source, and there are open source medical devices. You could almost speak from a rising market. Well, that may be an overstatement, but well, there's one open source medical device so far, and it's called Tidepool. Tidepool is built out of a grassroots movement from diabetes patients, and they couldn't use their insulin pumps as they wish. So they did it on themselves, like a do-it-yourself insulin pump, and you needed software for this. And there were many different projects, as it is usually done in open source. Yeah? And one of these projects, Tidepool, they decided to go the clearance way. And they got clearance 2023 as a Class 2 medical device with higher risk. And they put everything, they built open source, like the source code, the technical documentation, even the letters they wrote to the FDA in the US. They were published. And there's some MIT license. This means everybody can use it, even commercially. And this is reality. 2 months ago, the first company took this open source code and they built a for-profit product out of it. The second example I bring you today is Antibiogo. It's an app from Doctors Without Borders. And they found out that in many regions of the world, it's really hard to find an expert in microbiology. You have these Petri dishes, and you want to show, like, which antibiotic can I use and where are resistances. And you need an expert to interpret the images. So it's an opportunity for image classification, right? And they thought, we built an app, and we do it this task with an app. And they got the IVDD certification in May 2022. This was the last month the IVDD in Europe was active. After that, it was followed by the IVDR, which is more or less the same than the MDR for medical devices. And they're very comparable, so I took this here too. So they announced to do everything open source. So far, they published only the main algorithm, and they want to wait for clinical validation in 5 countries, I think, until they publish everything. Well, there are many other projects, but they have no certification and they don't try to get it. I mean, the world is big. Yeah? You don't need anywhere certification and so on. And even especially in third world countries, it's not that important. But well, all these projects have in common, they aim for social purposes. And as a state-funded department, we now do want to do things differently. And there's a special reason for this. And this reason didn't exist before. It's evidence in AI medical devices. And to understand this, we first have to look to AI and medicine and how they work together. 2.5 million years ago, there was an invention. Any clue? It's not fire control. This was 1 million years ago, probably. 2.5 million ago, the knife was invented. The knife. we had knives. So that's quite a lot of time, right? 250 years ago, the first melanoma, black skin cancer, was removed by a knife. The knife has evolved, right? It gets very sharp, and tiny things can do with a knife. Under an electron microscope, you can do things. But actually, the knife 2.5 million years ago probably had done the job to get this thing out of your skin, right? So it's not the tool what brings progress in medicine. It's evidence. And you get evidence with clinical trials and studies and so on. It's not the tool. AI won't bring us progress in medicine. It's not the tool. So what do we have with evidence? And it's random, but why? AI in radiology, we have a lot of it. And there's a special reason for it, because it's the most established field in AI in medicine. It can use image classification. And this tool, image classification, is, 10 years ahead than other things, right? So there was the study, Thomas, you told about it this morning, and they did a review about all medical devices which you can buy in Europe. And it was published 2 months ago, but with data from 2023. And let's have a look into this in this spearhead of AI medical devices. First of all, you have to understand evidence levels. There are 6 in this study, and 1 and 2, they are lower levels. You can achieve them pretty easy. It's retrospective data, and that's the easiest place to cheat and tweak numbers too. So it's not that good evidence. Then you have level 3 and 4. This gets more clinical. It's like what the doctor thinks is this picture cancer or not, and what is the follow-up? What are therapeutic decisions? And you can do these studies without patients, which is good because you have many ethical things which can hinder you. And then there's the real evidence, patient outcomes. We want to heal patients. We want to get them better, that they have better health. And this is the real clinical evidence in medicine, patient outcomes. And then we have level 6. This is more theoretically. It's what you find out on level 5 per euro. So have a look into it. You see, there are 2 reviews, actually. 2020 with 100 medical devices, and 2023 with 173 medical devices. And today, I saw this morning, you meant it's above 200 now, but, the data is from 2023. And as you can see, in level 1 and 2, there are many studies. There are many studies. Everybody can say, yeah, we have evidence. But we know, the quality, level 1, level 2. Level 3 and level 4, it gets less. But, that's maybe enough to do low-risk things, like there's still a doctor who says this diagnosis is right, as we heard before. And then there's level 5. And level 5, we have 9 studies, and in 3 years, there was 1 additional study. 1 additional study in all AI and radiology, all of it. 1 additional study in 3 years. And now I tell you, all 9 studies are from the same product. It's the same product. Well, there is an evidence gap. We lack evidence. It's so promising. But it's clinical evidence we need. Well, that's the summary. So there's an urgent need for more clinical evidence. And one could certainly consider how to regulate it, with the market and so on. But that's not our task. We are scientists. And frankly speaking, generating evidence is much more our responsibility than the responsibility of the industry. And the challenge is to generate level 5 evidence. And for this, we not only need endurance, we need medical devices. And a few years ago, we asked ourselves, as scientists, could we not develop medical devices on our own? A medical device which is perfectly designed to generate evidence. And a new term was born. We need a for-evidence medical device. So what are the differences? This is a big table, but I will lead you through. So the goal is different. You don't want the maximum money, you want the maximum evidence. So the components are selected in a way that you get evidence out of it. It's the thing above all. For profit, it's only one component of many which can have effect on sales. But maybe your money is more worth in pricing, marketing, in customer loyalty, network effects, vendor login. You have to choose as company, where do I invest? Is evidence that which brings me more sales? Well, what are the requirements for evidence medical devices? It must be open. It's clear. It should enable multi-center cooperation. You need reproducibility. You need validation, externally validation. Therefore, you need transparency. And you need a lot of things which a for-profit company don't like, because there are reasons against it, and there are good reasons, like competitive disadvantages, like protection of IP, of property rights of that product, right? So for evidence, the best solution is clearly open source. And this is only because the requirements, they need this, right? And for traditional manufacturers, not that many advantages. But well, first service business models arising, as I told you, with Tidepool. There are these business models with service maintenance and so on, and without protection of IP, right? They take what is open source and they do service about it. And I read that 50% of all the money in the IT sector in the health business is made with service and maintenance. So actually that should be enough money. So far, so good. To fill the term, the for evidence medical device, now I will hand over the microphone to Toralf and to have a look into our own project and our clinical decision support system, which we develop as a medical device. And he will show you more in detail. So far, my part, thank you.